Hey, my name is Mike, and this is a too long didn't read guide for the King Rastakhan encounter in the Battle of Dazar'alor. You start the fight with King Rastakhan and adds. Any damage you deal to the boss will instead be inflicted onto the adds, so you shouldn't be focusing on him until they're dead. Siegebreaker should be your first target. He puts this light yellow circle on someone called Meteor Leap. When it expires, it deals damage split amongst everyone hit, so bring this in the melee. If your DPS is good, you can have the entire raid stacked to start the fight. After this, he'll leap to the tank and do a lot of damage and apply a stacking debuff that makes this do 500% more damage. Do a swap when you get this debuff. The prelate add will fixate a beam on a random player and has a fire puddle chase them. Just run away from people if it's on you. On heroic, there's a third add called the Headhunter. He'll hit a random player with Grievous Axe that'll leave a dot on them. Heal this player past 90% health to remove it. Rastakhan will do a 5-second channel called Scorching Detonation on the tank. It deals damage to them and it explodes at the end, dealing raid-wide AoE. Run away from the raid with this because the AoE does less damage the further away you are. The other tank should taunt as soon as the channel is done to avoid moving the boss. Rastakhan also spawns 3 green swirlies around him in a triangle. Non-targetable frogs spawn from these and jump away from the boss. On heroic, they leave green puddles on the ground as they jump. These puddles are not permanent, but they do last a while. Avoid the frogs unless you can spare an immunity to soak one of them. Touching one will cause it to despawn. On heroic, the boss will spawn a greater serpent totem which everyone should swap to immediately. It is a frontal cone that applies a 5-second dot to anyone hit. After killing the adds, you will get stunned and Samdi will enter the fight. Tank him on one side of the room. He takes no damage, so no one should be attacking him. He has a giant green circle around him that no one except the tank should be standing in, as it applies a stacking dot to anyone inside. Keep tank swapping after each Scorching Detonation channel from Rastakhan. Samdi does Caress of Death on the tank. This applies a 5-second debuff on you that absorbs all heals. Make sure the tank has enough health to survive 5 seconds of no heals before this cast is finished. Samdi will also put an 8-second dot called Death's Door on random people. When this dot expires, you drop a green closet on the ground that you'll need later in the fight. Drop these around the middle of the room and near Samdi, and try to keep them all in the same section. You'll see why shortly. In this phase, Rastakhan still does the tank ability and spawns frogs. His totem ability has changed to a zombie dust totem which mind controls a random player until the totem is killed. Make sure you do not kill the MC'd player. Rastakhan will also put Plague of Fire on random people, indicated by this orange circle around you. After 1.5 seconds, it will explode and spread to anyone in your circle. Range should stay spread out so you can pretty much ignore this, and melee can either pre-spread or just deal with it. If there's a circle in melee, just start spreading out until it stops spreading. When Rastakhan reaches 60% health, Samdi will channel his boon onto Rastakhan. This gives him a permanent stacking buff that increases his damage by 2% every 15 seconds for the rest of the fight. At the end of this channel, the half of the raid that is closest to Samdi will be teleported with him to the Death Realm. No tank is required here. People in this realm should pop Lust and their offensive cooldowns to get out of here as quickly as possible. Lust will not affect the living realm. In this realm, Samdi will spam cast Caress of Death on random people. It lasts 3 seconds instead of 5. He also periodically channels Inevitable End, which pulls you towards him. If you get close to him during this, you will die immediately, so run away from him. And make sure to avoid the balls that are down here as well. In this realm, everyone will be getting a stacking dot. When you get to around 10 stacks, run through the closet to drop your stacks. When Samdi gets to 50% health, everyone in the Death Realm returns to the Living Realm and you will only have King Rastakhan to fight. While Samdi is in the Death Realm, the Living Realm has some changes. King Rastakhan stops spawning frogs and putting the orange circle on people. However, green balls will begin spawning out of the green closets, so avoid them. In addition to that, adds will spawn who become immune to CC after 60 seconds. Kill the Phantom of Retribution first. He spawns these green circles on the ground that will deal raid-wide AoE unless soaked by a player. Interrupt his Gravebolt ability as well. The Phantom of Rage puts a green swirly underneath the tank. Move out of this. On heroic, a third add called the Phantom of Slaughter should be your second priority. He channels Focus Demise on a random player, which deals a decent amount of damage, and only the player that this is being channeled on can interrupt it. He also does Gravebolt, which anyone can interrupt. When the Death Realm is over with, pop Lust for all the people in the Living Realm. Rastakhan regains his frog and orange circle abilities. Bring him to an area of the room that is relatively free of green closets. Throughout the remainder of this fight, he will put Death's Door on random people. Make sure to try and drop these together, as green balls are still shooting out of these. Once your area begins to fill up, move the boss to another clean area. Rastakhan has also obtained Samdi's Inevitable End ability, so run away from him during this. Defensive cooldowns will be needed in the Death Realm as well as the end of the fight. That was a too long didn't read guide for the King Rastakhan encounter. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and have a royal day.